haven't won on any level. I can't say that I'm a winner. I don't want my career to end like that.
Jimmy Butler took a humble 8th-seeded team and led them to an incredible victory over a number 1 seed. It's like watching an underdog sports movie play out in real life. The last time that this happened was when the 2012 Philadelphia 76ers took on the Chicago Bulls. And now, it's Butler's Miami Heat making history. Seriously, he's raising the bar so high, even his own standards are looking up. Now buckle up, because in this video, we are going to discover some of the most intriguing tidbits about Jimmy Butler. You might know him as Jimmy G Buckets, or Playoff Jimmy. And sure, sometimes he gets into heated exchanges with his opponents, or, well, even his own teammates and coaches. But when the dust settles, it's crystal clear that all he really wants is to win. And because of that, he became one of the most respected players in the NBA League. From his tough upbringing to his unique interests, we're uncovering lesser-known facts that'll leave you bamboozled. So, welcome to the world of
Jimmy Butler.
Oh, just Butler, steal and slam points for Jimmy Butler. The turnaround.
It is Butler for the win. Yes!
Fact number 1. When Jimmy was just 13 years old, his mom kicked him out of their house. You heard that right. This tough-as-nails player had to face the harsh realities of life at such a young age. But it's this very upbringing on the outskirts of Houston, Texas, that shaped Jimmy into the no-nonsense, resilient person he is today. When Jimmy was still an infant, his dad already abandoned them, leaving his mom to raise him alone. Then one day, his mom disapproved of his behavior and uttered the heartbreaking words, "I don't like the look of you. You gotta go." And just like that, young Jimmy was on his own. But don't worry, folks, because today, Butler and his biological mom are on good terms, and he even visits her whenever he can. Well, I wonder what goes through his mom's mind every time she watches her son play in the NBA. Shoot your opinion in the comments section below. But wait, if his mother kicked him out, who supported him to become the Butler we all know today? Well, to answer that question will lead us to number 2. Despite all the challenges, Jimmy Butler found love and support in a surrogate family. After being kicked out of his home, Jimmy bounces from one friend's house to another, couch surfing for weeks at a time. But destiny had other plans, and it was none other than basketball that led Jimmy to a family he could call his own. Flash forward to just before Jimmy's senior year in high school, when he meets a freshman named Jordan Leslie at a summer league basketball camp. Jordan is 2 years younger than Jimmy, and he challenges him to a three-point contest. Jimmy and Jordan quickly hit it off and formed a close bond because Jordan was not only on the basketball team, but he was also a part of the football squad. Jordan was aware of Jimmy's situation, and he insisted that he stays at their house. Despite having 6 other children, Michelle Lambert, Jordan's mom, and his stepdad eventually welcomed Jimmy with open arms. Michelle becomes that loving mother figure that Jimmy so desperately needed in his life. She supports Jimmy's basketball dreams, but doesn't let him lose sight of his academics, and she does this all with love, always appealing to Butler's better nature. "I told him my kids looked up to him. He had to stay out of trouble, work hard in school. He had to set an example. And you know what? Jimmy did it. Anything I asked him to do, he did it without asking questions." This page of Butler's life proves that sometimes friends can turn into family, and basketball can bring people together in the most unexpected ways. And despite all of this, Jimmy absolutely hates that homeless label. And that is, in fact, our number 3. Now, we know that Jimmy was kicked out by his biological mother at the age of 13. He is quick to set the record straight. In his own words, the story has been blown out of proportion times 1,000. According to Jimmy, he was never truly homeless. As he puts it, "I was not living under a bridge, that's homeless, or standing on the corner asking for change. That's not what it was. I'm not going to say it was the easiest of times, don't get me wrong, but I had a home or homes." Despite the tough times and traumatic memories from his hometown of Tomball, Jimmy wouldn't trade his experiences for anything. Sure, his mother made him feel unwanted at one point, but so many people stepped up to fill the void, including his high school basketball coaches and, of course, the loving Lambert family. In fact, Jimmy believes that another basketball-related challenge was far harder than the heartbreaking moment he was kicked out by his own mom. Fact number 4. Jimmy Butler wasn't a high school basketball standout. Yeah, that's right. To kickstart his basketball career, Jimmy had to take a different path. starting out a year at junior college before transferring to Marquette. Despite finishing high school ranked as the 73rd player in Texas, Jimmy was what Marquette coach Buzz Williams described as an afterthought. With no clear path forward in basketball, Jimmy made the tough decision to attend junior college. To give you an idea of just how uncommon that is, there are only 5 NBA players today who went down the JUCO route. After a solid year at Tyler Junior College in Texas, Jimmy transferred to Marquette, but it wasn't all smooth drive. In fact, he struggled during his first year, averaging just 5.6 points and 3.9 rebounds per game. But that didn't stop your boy Jimmy. He turned things around in years 2 and 3. Jimmy admits that going to Marquette was the most challenging thing he's ever faced. He even considered quitting basketball. He recalls, "I was like, you know what, this basketball thing ain't for me. I wish I would have had a journal to get it all out, instead of talking to myself in the dark. I was like, man, I don't know what to do, who to talk to, who can relate. You're so far from home. To tell you the truth, I didn't do no research. I didn't know that it snowed. I didn't know that it got cold. I didn't know anything. I went up there like I was still in Texas. Basketball shorts, t-shirts, flip-flops. The one person who did help me, I'll tell you this, Joe Fultz. We went to Marquette together, and it was like whenever we had a problem, we were each other's kind of coping mechanism. The fact that you just had someone to listen to you definitely helped. And by staying with basketball, Jimmy made 6 All-Star teams, 5 All-Defensive teams, and 4 All-NBA teams throughout his 12 NBA seasons. And he's still firing right now. Fact number 5. Jimmy Butler is the only Chicago Bull to win the Most Improved Player award. And by doing that, Jimmy G. Buckets made history. After finally making it to the NBA, Jimmy's career followed a familiar pattern. He only played 8.5 minutes per game in his rookie year, but he quickly became a rotation player in the next 2 seasons. And then, like a rocket shooting into the sky, Jimmy's stats soared in the 2014-15 season. He averaged 13.1 points the previous season, and then he bumped it up to a whopping 20 points by the end of 2015. Oh, did we mention that he also made his first All-Star team that year? It was the beginning of an impressive streak, with 4 consecutive appearances and 6 in total. Fact number 6 will reveal a whole new side of Jimmy Butler that you probably never knew about. Because it turns out that Jimmy B is a man of many interests, and these hobbies are all about fueling his competitive fire. Now, we all know that Jimmy is super competitive on the court, but did you know he's just as intense when it comes to non-basketball activities? For starters, Jimmy is a self-proclaimed domino-tician. Yep, he loves playing dominoes and crushing his opponents. And the fun doesn't stop there. He's also into playing the piano, challenging people to checkers, mastering card games, and he even tried his hand at medieval fencing just for kicks. Do you love coffee? I love coffee. Heroes of the Courtside loves coffee. Actually, everyone loves coffee. And here's fact number 7 with an extra kick, because Jimmy Butler has a love affair. With coffee, of course. Yes, this NBA star, who made a career-high 56 points in the NBA playoff game the other night, is a bona fide coffee aficionado, and even founded his own retail coffee company called Big Face. Let's step back to the 2020 NBA bubble restart. Jimmy is chillin' in his Orlando hotel room, and he brought his espresso machine because he knew the local Java just wouldn't cut it. As I was sitting in my hotel room in the Orlando bubble, all I could think about was how I could hustle these guys out of their cash. Butler said nonchalantly, "I knew people had cash, and no one was using it because of COVID. So I decided to take cash." And so Big Face Coffee was born. Jimmy launched his company on Shopify, but he didn't stop there. Your coffee-loving hero ventured to Costa Rica to truly immerse himself in the world of coffee. He tasted the finest beans, chatted with farmers, and became just as obsessed with coffee as he is with basketball.